Okay, guys. Let's talk about this real quick.
Blizzard treat?
Turn my radio off. Turn the car off. Roll the window up just a little bit. Get a little bit of air. And yes, it is cold here. That's why I got all this stuff on. Okay. I'm in the Midwest. We had some storms yesterday, and it cooled down a lot. But I work in a very, very cold facility. Now, as you can see, I look very tired. Okay, I am extremely tired. Okay, I get up very early morning before the birds are even chirping to come to work. And then I'll get off maybe about 1:30, 2 o'clock, or 2:30. 1:30, 2:30, somewhere around there. And then for you guys that has kids, you gotta get home before the kids get off the bus. And, so on and so on. So, this is what I want to talk about. Now, yesterday, and some of you may be going through the same thing. Okay, so yesterday, my son's school had a parent teachers conference or parents home event, something. I don't know, they call it something else. But what it is essentially, I can't even think straight. But anyway, so what it is you go to the school, and my son's in 6th grade, so you go to the school. This is his first year. He's using a locker combination, and he's going to 7 different classes now, right? So he brings home this laptop. You can probably tell where I'm going with this, right? He brings home this laptop. I'm not they give you a laptop now? Like it's not a tablet. It's a fold-out laptop. And then they encourage us to at least get some insurance on it. That's what they tell us. Buy insurance for it, because you never know. Buy insurance. And then they tell us, hey, every night he needs to put this laptop on the charger and make sure it's charged for school so he can have it. And all his classes, all 7 of his classes, they have to use their tablet. They have to use their laptop. Okay? And they gave him a password, username and a password that he types in to open it, to unlock it. And he had some experience with, computers prior to going to this school, right? They didn't have no tablet. They did a desktop computer. So they got them familiar with putting in a password. They made them get familiar with putting in a password and a username and a password on the computer, on a desktop. So this year, he went to a different school. They gave him the laptop. And so I'm going to all these different classes, right? I'm sitting there listening to the teachers talk. All of them introduced themselves and told about some of their personal lives, like their family, how many kids they got, all these things, these hobbies they like. And then they tell all this expectation that they want from every kid they come into the class. And one of them was to make sure their laptop is charged. And every homework assignment is most likely going to be in their laptop. Every assignment most likely is in their laptop. There may be some occasion where they have a paper or something, but for the most part, it's all in the laptop. Something like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of convenient, right? And then one of the teachers go through okay, so in order to get to their assignment, you need to first log on, then go to the school's website. And then I think they have a website for all schools. I think it's Schoolology or something like that. You have Parent Square, which kind of it's a Parent Square that shows their grades and stuff. And then you can send messages back and forth to the teacher through Parent Square. Then you have Schoolology, where all their assignments and stuff is on, and teachers load their stuff by classrooms or different subjects. The teachers load their stuff on there. And then they brought up, now, and they have Clover. And then they were like, Clover is the one app that has everything in one. But they want you to go to Schoolology. I'm like, okay, so I can go to Clover I can open up Clover, go there, then go to Schoolology, then go there, open that up, and then go to the classroom, search and find his class, click on that, and then you gotta really, really pay attention and read this stuff, because it's like drop downs, and then you gotta click on this, and it says assignment, homework assignment. You open that, and then I kind of went through it, and I opened the folder, and then it drops down into like 3 or 4 more different folders, and then you click on that, and then it says, you can find a homework assignment at such and such. I'm like, well, why did I have to go here to go back out to go to another section in the computer, to another website, or to something else to get the homework? I'm like, oh my gosh, like how many times these folders gonna drop down? I mean, some of you guys know what I mean if you're computer savvy. You click on it, it opens up, then there's like folders, literally folders. And then you can see like plus signs next to them. You click that, then it opens up a little bit more. It's almost like a pyramid, like everything's stacked. And you got to keep clicking and go here. And like, why say go to this one spot to get your homework assignment or to get the instructions for your homework assignment? Then it sends you somewhere else. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like, how can they expect young kids to do this? How? Like, I could barely navigate through it. Like I said, after I got back, I sat there for hours. I got back around 7:30 or something p.m. I left about 4:30, trying to get through traffic to be there at 6. Be there around 5 or 6. And we was there, right? We was there. And then, but I get home and I'm going through his tablet, and I'm like, man, this is even difficult for me. And I'm not really into computers like that. I mean, I got a little bit of knowledge of certain things. Like, I'm more of the editing type person, right? I like to edit, okay? And I have to use a computer or a cell phone. And I'm going through all this stuff on his computer. And I'm like, man, I'm lost. Like, I'm literally lost. And then it's like, when I go to this site for the school, it'll say like math, science, biology. It's like in big squares, and it kind of shows like a little image of, the class or whatever. Then when you click on that, then it goes into all these different like files. It kind of breaks it down into different files, different folders. And I'm like, man, there's got to be a simpler way. Like, this is crazy. This is so crazy. And then they were saying like, and then one teacher said, well, if we have, you need to get Parent Square. You need to make sure the app is working. You need Power School, Parent Square, Power School, Schoolology, Clever. I'm like, okay, so if you need to send a message, you go through Parent Square. But then one teacher's like, if I have an assignment, it's not going to be in the Schoolology. You can't go there to find it. I would just text you or send you a message directly saying that they have assignment. I'm like, what? Like, how come all of this is not like in order? Like, it's like kind of all over the place. And then I'm trying to communicate to my son, and I mean, he's 10, and I'm like, do you know where to go? And he's even confused. Like, he's confused on where to go. Guys, I'm sorry, I'm not like looking at straight at the camera. I'm like, my mind just going crazy. I'm exhausted because I stayed up kind of late with him trying to figure some stuff out. And then he's, like he has homework, right? If you don't complete your assignment in school, a in-class assignment, then they consider it homework. So that means you gotta go home and do this stuff. So I'm going through I'm trying to find out if he has missing assignments, which he does. Cause he just started back to school. It's only been like the second week or something. And I'm like, oh man, here's some assignments. Here's some missing assignments. And then if you miss assignment and you get graded, they want you to go to another spot in the computer, submit a request to redo your grade for the homework you did. So I'm like, so I got to submit a form to see if I can redo. He has to submit a form to see if he can redo a homework assignment, right? That he missed, or if he got a bad grade, to redo it so he can bring his grade up. So I go to the form, and then the same form is for every class. But the way the form was laid out, it's like, and then you gotta waiting to get a response, because I don't know who this form goes to. I don't know if it goes directly to the teacher first, but it goes somewhere, and then you gotta wait to get a response. I'm like, well, how long does it take to get a response? But anyway, let me get to one other part. So we finally figured this out, and he does some math, right? He brings out his math. We open it up, and here come the math coming across the screen, and it's like fractions, division, multiplication, and it's like a storyline that goes with it. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, and I'm trying to figure this out. I'm like, I don't even know where to start anymore. I'm looking at his math, I'm like, what? Like, this kind of math they're teaching they're teaching 9-year-olds and 10-year-olds to do this? I mean, I know when you're going through school, it gets harder and harder. How much time I got? But I'm like, I can't even figure it out. Like, it's supposed to be really kind of basic for his age, at least so the parents can figure it out. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh my God, I cannot figure this out. I couldn't figure out the math that he was doing. I had to search online to figure out how to do this. Then I couldn't figure out his laptop and how to navigate through it. That was another learning curve for me. So I have to spend time to learn how to navigate through his laptop, and he has to figure it out too. And we got to figure out his new math, right? And then they tell us, now since we're in the age of AI, it's okay to use it, but we got to be careful and not to use it for just copy and paste answers and all this other stuff. They were saying, don't do that because they're going to know, you can get in trouble. And like, it was just so much going on. And then my son said that he's just overwhelmed, right? Because he's getting pressured because, for one, he jumped from one school to another school, and now he's in a school with bigger people, which is, we have to go through that. He's in a school with bigger people, and what happened to my screen? He's in a school with bigger people. He has a locker, and he only has 4 minutes to pass from one class to another. And yesterday when he came home, I picked him up from the bus stop, and then I said, okay, we have to go do something. So I have to keep driving. And then he's like, oh, I gotta go, I gotta pee. I'm like, oh my God, like, why didn't you use the bathroom? And it's like, I don't know when they're gonna have time to go use the restroom. They give them so many hall passes and passes to go to the restroom, but then after that, you don't get any more, right? You don't get any more. You do not get any more. It's very, I think it's like 12 per semester or something, but then you don't get any more. And I'm looking at the time because we did a kind of a mock run going to all his 7 classes. And I'm like, man, like you only have 4 minutes to go to one room to the next room, maybe to your locker, or don't even go to your locker. You gotta go to your locker at some point in time, or carry all your books, or carry everything you need. Which majority of the time, the only thing you're going to need is pencil. Depending on what class you're going, you may need a ruler or whatever. But for the most part, you need your backpack and your laptop and your charging cable. So a locker's really not needed, you know. What time is it? Okay. A locker's not needed, but 4 minutes to go to one class, but you gotta stop and use the restroom. So it's like that's a lot. Like, I don't know. I'm just so overwhelmed. I'm so out of tune on how they're teaching the kids, and like what they're teaching them isn't. I'm talking like how my parents used to talk to me now. I'm saying kind of what my parents used to say. It's not like how I was when growing up. Come on, we gotta get out of the car. It's not how it was when I was growing up. The world is so far technology advanced that the parents are lost. We're all lost. But I'm gonna end it at that. Guys, are you experiencing the same thing with your kids that going to school and got a laptop and then they need help with their homework and they're overwhelmed? Let me know. Just leave a comment. All right, guys, I gotta go. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.